All right, this is the Chromosomes and Karyotypes lesson. Let's just start reading it. It says, have you ever heard of chromosomes? They are super tightly wound up DNA packets in your new cells. You should remember chromosomes from learning about mitosis, when cells split up into new cells and their DNA gets copied and then pulled apart. So if you think back to 7th grade when we talked about mitosis, when the cell gets ready to divide, it has to line up all of its chromosomes, and then those chromosomes get pulled apart, right? And so we have talked about chromosomes, but we're going to talk about them in the context of DNA. So what are they? They are super tightly wound up DNA. So normally your DNA is all spread out in your cells, but chromosomes are when they wrap around little tiny proteins called histones, and so the DNA gets really super extra coiled up. And this happens really only when the cells are about to divide, because it keeps it more organized so the DNA doesn't get all tangled up. Because if your DNA was all spread out and it tried to split apart, it would be kind of a mess. And so your DNA knows how, it's not alive, but somehow it knows to twist up and get into these nice, neat little packets before your cells divide, so that cells can evenly get the right amount of the right DNA. And we'll talk about that in a bit. So normally your DNA is not condensed into chromosomes unless it's going to divide. Normally it's all spread out and it's being used to make proteins for your body and your cells. So there you go. You can see that it was really stretched out. Now it's just tightly coiled. That would be a chromosome. Okay, so that's all chromosomes are, is super tightly coiled DNA. It says there are 23 pairs of chromosomes in every human cell, or 46 total chromosomes. 23 come from the mother of the organism, and 23 come from the father. So again, this is every cell of your body has 46 chromosomes, or 46 sets of DNA, 23 from the mother, 23 from the father. The pairs of chromosomes are called homologous pairs. So homo means same, so they're not the exact same, but they're like the same type. So same type. And this will make sense in a minute. It says, think of your chromosomes as like socks. They come in pairs. Each one goes on each foot. They're the same, but they're not the exact same. They are a little different. Even think about if you wore 2 different color socks, but they're the same type of socks, that would be a homologous pair. But you would not wear a tube sock with an ankle sock. Those would not be homologous pairs, okay? And then it says, and this picture, here we see the DNA that we've been talking about with the A's, C's, T's, and G's, and if it gets all coiled up, it makes a chromosome. Those chromosomes are in the nucleus of the cell. Okay, it says chromosomes can be ordered from largest to smallest in a chart called a karyotype. So what is a karyotype? It is a chart of all the chromosomes. Certain genes are on certain chromosomes. For example, this is real, the gene that determines your blood type is found on chromosome 9. A person inherits one chromosome 9 from their mother and one from their father. The 2 genes can come together to make the proteins to have the specific traits for the certain blood type. We're going to look at that in a bit. So let me just refresh here. 1 chromosome from each homologous pair comes from the mother. And so this would be a karyotype. So, karyotype, that's what this is. This picture here. And this is in one cell. And you're made up of trillions of cells, so all of the cells would have this inside of them. So, 1 chromosome from the mother, 1 from the father. Okay? And then it says the first 22 pairs of chromosomes in the karyotype are called autosomes, or non-sex chromosomes. So 1 through 29, these are autosomes. They're just normal chromosomes. They have genes on them. That's just like a normal, it's like your DNA. And then it says the last pair of chromosomes are called sex chromosomes. A male has the sex chromosomes XY, and a female has the sex chromosomes XX. So looking at this, would this karyotype belong to a male or a female? The answer is it's a female. This person has 2 X chromosomes. So this would be a female. If it didn't have if it got the X, right, that would be from the mother. It has to be from the mother. And then it had a Y from the father, that would make this a male karyotype. But it didn't. It got the X from the mother and the X from the father. And we're going to look at inheritance and patterns like that in a little bit.